Assalamu alaikum listeners, welcome to the show SPINOFF. I am your host Faisal Ilyas. You must have seen me doing TV shows talking about sports, especially cricket, but now is the time to be your RJ and interact with you on cricket. As we all know that T20 cricket is on in West Indies and USA, and green team is already there. There have been 3 matches already played. So Spin-Off is going to bring you all the analysis, all the updates about what is happening in T20 World Cup. There will be 9 venues where these matches will be played, and we expect our team to be doing well. I know a lot of viewers are a little worried as to how Pakistan is performing these days, but remember, mark my words, when Pakistan enters into a tournament as underdogs, they do very, very well. So we expect our team to do well. Spin-Off is going to bring you all the analysis from the T20 World Cup, and in today's show we'll bring to you the results and the good performances from the 3 games that have already been played. Now let's talk about a little bit of history about T20 World Cup. As I already told you that this is the 9th season of T20 ICC T20 edition. What is important in this year's ICC T20 World Cup is that there are 20 teams in this year's World Cup, and this World Cup is being played in West Indies and USA. USA is hosting this kind of an event for the first time. We all know that there are 3 venues where USA will be hosting their matches, and in West Indies, which has already hosted this tournament in 2010, which was won by England. So West Indies is, we all know, one of the sides of 2 decades, 1990s and 2020. They were not able to qualify in the last T20 World Cup, but this time round they come by a big margin because they have a very good side, and their first game has also been very good for West Indies. So there will be 20 teams. They will be divided into 4 groups: Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. So every group will have 5 teams, and I know you'll be interested to know as to what group Pakistan is having. Pakistan is in Group A, where there is India, Pakistan, USA, Canada, and Ireland. So Pakistan is in kind of a difficult group because USA is already doing so well. They were able to beat Canada in their first game, and Pakistan, we all know, has already a rivalry with India. So that game, which is going to happen on 9th June, is going to be a tough game considering how Pakistan has been doing very recently. So the main reason of doing this show is to interact with you guys on Pakistan-India games especially, and from there on, as Pakistan progresses in the tournament, there will be more difficult games. But I'm pretty sure that this group that Pakistan is having is not easy. It's not just India game. All of the game are going to be a little tough for Pakistan considering their form. But I'll repeat myself again, if Pakistan enters into a big tournament as an underdog, they do well in the tournament, and this is what we expect from Pakistan team. Then there are Group B, Group C, Group D. I'll talk you through Group D because that is also a very important group. They have South Africa, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal. So it's a tough group because each group will have 2 teams qualifying for the next round, and in the next round there will be 2 groups, Group A, Group B, having 4 teams each, from where there will be 2 teams coming out from each group to play the semi-finals, and obviously the final will be between the 2 teams. So now we'll talk about the first 3 games that have already been played in the T20 World Cup, and the first game was played between the hosts, or rather co-hosts, USA and Canada, and boy oh boy, what a game. Who could have expected USA and Canada to have such a high scoring game? And as we expected, the drop-in pitches are going to produce more and more runs, which is a good sign because Pakistan is going to play their matches in USA first. So if we talk about this game, USA won the toss and they wanted to ball first. They bowled very well. They bowled Canada for 194 for 5, but USA's batting was exceptional. They were able to chase down the score in 17.4 overs because of the great batting by Aaron Jones, who was able to score 94 runs off just 40 balls. So there were 250s from the Canadian team and there were 250s from the USA team, and Pakistan also has to play their game with USA on the same ground of Dallas, where Pakistan will be playing against US. So this game is also expected to be a high scoring game, and the kind of form Pakistan is having, it's an important sign for Pakistan to have such kind of a pitch, because if it's a high scoring game, it's always good for Pakistan top order to score more runs. And obviously USA is hosting this tournament, and they have a fair idea as to what kind of pitches that are there, and Pakistan will also have the opportunity to play well against US and start their campaign in a positive note. If you want to have any questions about Pakistan's side, because there are a lot of things happening with Pakistan team, about selection, we have spoken a lot about Azam Khan. So if you have any questions about these players as to whether they are going to be part of the playing 11 or not, you can text in on our WhatsApp numbers. Our WhatsApp number is 0314 289 8989. You can ask your questions and I'll be able to respond to your specific questions. Coming back to the US and Canada game, so US has already scored 2 points with this win. They were able to win the game by 7 wickets, and they were able to chase down the total in just 17.4 overs. And I have not seen any tournament where in just third game there is this super over game. You guys must have watched yesterday's game between Namibia and Oman, where the power play and super over came into play, and Namibia was able to win that game. We'll talk about this game in detail, but the second game that was played yesterday was between the co-hosts West Indies and PNG. That game was also very exciting because we expected West Indies pitches to be a little low scoring games, and that went according to the expectation. It was a low scoring game, but West Indies was able to win it with the help of Roston Chase's outstanding performance with the ball and with the bat. Guys, you can also spin me off by bowling some dusras and ask questions on our WhatsApp numbers. So the second game that we were analyzing being played in this T20 World Cup is the game between the co-hosts West Indies and PNG, Papua New Guinea. So this game, again, the hosts won the toss and they wanted to bowl first, and they bowled very well. And I'll repeat myself, the grounds in West Indies are generally low scoring games grounds, and this ground also has the history of producing low scoring games. So in this game PNG batted first. They were able to score 136 runs for 8 wickets, and at one point in time in the middle of the innings, it was looking like West Indies was finding it difficult to win the game, but eventually with the experience of Roston Chase and good batting from Andre Russell, they were able to win the match. And it was an important game for West Indies because they were not part of the last T20 World Cup because of their bad performances in the group stages. So it was important for them to win this time round and give a good opening to the tournament. So both the hosts have won the first 2 games. So USA has also won and West Indies has also won their first game. West Indies won the game by 5 wickets, and it was good to see once the great team West Indies coming back to their form in this tournament. We'll also analyze the third game that was played yesterday. This game was played in the Group C, and this game went to the wire. Actually, this game went into the first super over of this T20 World Cup, and Namibia is the team where we have some players which we are used to. If we talk about David Wiese, we all know that this player comes from Lahore Qalandars, and who could forget his great performances for Lahore Qalandars. And this game also was surrounded around David Wiese's performance. So David Wiese was able to make this win possible for Namibia in the super over. When we talk about the main game, Oman was able to score just 109 runs, and it was not easy for Namibia to score down 109 runs. They were able to score 109 for 6 in the full quota of 20 overs. Then the match went into the super over where David Wiese was able to turn it round for Namibia, and eventually Namibia won the tournament. So if we talk about the 3 games that have happened so far, all of these games have been very, very nail-biter games because no game has been one-sided. Even we were expecting that West Indies and PNG game will be one-sided because West Indies were able to throw away Australia in the warm-up game, but it was not easy when it came to the main game in the tournament. Alright, so we have one message from Noor Mia. We'll try to read his message. I think I'll be able to do in a while. I'm your RJ Faisal Ilyas. I'll be with you in the entire T20 tournament on City FM 89 doing this show spin-off, and I'll be expecting a lot of questions, a lot of interaction from you guys. You can text into our WhatsApp numbers that we've already shared with you, All right, so we were talking about the three games that have already happened in the T20 World Cup, and the most important game is going to come up on 6th June, and even the bigger game, the marquee game of the tournament, is going to come up on the 9th of June between India and Pakistan. We all are waiting for this game. You can text in your questions about that game, and I'll be interested to know as to what playing 11 that you are expecting from Pakistan's side, because the burning question right now is who are the 11 players who are going to play in the Pakistan-India game. There are a lot of questions on Azam Khan, Saim Ayub and Shadab Khan's selection. I'm expecting your questions on that front as well. Alright, so if we speak about T20 tournaments a little again, so there are two most successful teams in T20 World Cups. One is England, that has won two tournaments in 2010 and 2022. Why I'm saying this is because the last World Cup that happened in West Indies was won by England, and they beat Australia in the finals, and Pakistan was beaten in the semi-finals in that tournament. So this time round Pakistan has to go two steps further in West Indies to win this World Cup. Then India won the inaugural T20 World Cup in 2007. Pakistan won 2009 World Cup, and the second most successful team, you will not believe, is West Indies, which was not part of the T20 tournament last season. They won their tournaments in 2012 and 2016. So let's not forget that this is the team that can give tough time to a lot of the teams in this competition. Actually, all the 20 teams have come through a lot of competition, and they've become part of this tournament by winning a lot of T20 matches across the world. Alright, so West Indies has won two titles just like England. So these are the two top teams in World Cup history. And then there is the Sri Lanka that has won this tournament in 2014. Australia won this tournament in 2021. So Australia are the champions once as well, but England is the team which is defending their title, and Pakistan had won this title when it was second season of T20 World Cup. So Pakistan has won it way earlier. Now Pakistan has to come back, and they have to do well in this T20 World Cup, and Pakistan is again going to play their game on 6th of June against USA. I expect you guys to give me your 11 on our WhatsApp numbers so that we can discuss it, and I would also want to know from you guys as to who are the two players you want to see as openers in the game against US. Do you think Saim Ayub will be part of the team and will be an opener in that game? Because that gives him the confidence to play well against India, because against India you need a team which scores runs quickly, which have great strike rates, because you want young blood in the teams against India to do well, because generally your senior players are a little more concerned about doing so well that they sometimes get choked into this kind of matches. But we'll have to wait and see. But it will be interesting to know what do you think about this game, and what do you think is going to be the playing 11 for Pakistan. Another key fact that I would want to share with you guys is that in T20 tournaments there is only one player in the history from Pakistan which has been the man of the tournament, and that player is your favorite Shahid Khan Afridi. He was the man of the tournament in 2007 T20 World Cup, and that was the World Cup where Pakistan did not win. It was the World Cup that India won, but Pakistani player became the player of the tournament, and this is because Shahid Afridi had such persona, such personality, and he was so flamboyant that he was able to do it. And in this format you need players like Shahid Afridi who are brave, who can go and express themselves on the ground, and with the game like India you need such kind of players. That is my way of thinking about it. You might be thinking completely differently. This is why I want your feedback as well. And you talk about big players to be doing great in this T20 tournaments, then the biggest name that comes to your mind and that comes into record books is Virat Kohli, who has scored the most runs in T20 World Cups, and it goes without saying because he is the one who is the top scorer in T20 format. So there could be none other than him who has the most runs in T20 World Cups. And if you talk about strike rates, there are big players who hold these records, but Joss Butler with the strike rate of 144.48 is the player who holds the top strike rate for England in T20 format, and this is the best strike rate. So we've already spoken a lot about the three games that have already been played. All these three games have been very, very competitive, and there is no difference between even West Indies and PNG when it comes to the eventual result of the game. But the game that's going to happen today is one of the one of the big games of this tournament, because Sri Lanka and South Africa are going to go head to head, and this game is, if you can rate these games, this game is going to be one of the biggest games in this tournament. And why I'm saying is it because South Africa and Sri Lanka are, both the teams are in the top 10 of T20 rankings. So if we talk about a little history about these two teams have played 4 games between each other, and South Africa has clear edge on Sri Lanka. South Africa has won 3 games against Sri Lanka, and these were done in 2012, 2016 and 2021. So South Africa has a clear edge, but Sri Lanka also won 1 game against South Africa, and that happened in 2014 when Sri Lanka actually won that game, when they won the title as well. So that team of Sri Lanka was very, very strong. But if you talk about the head-to-head, South Africa has a clear edge. We have to see as to how they perform today. This game is going to start at 7:30 Pakistan time, and we expect a nail-biter game once again, because we have already seen one super over in this tournament, and especially the kind of pitches that USA has produced are producing big runs. And if it's a game where there will be a lot of runs, then all the viewers are going to enjoy this game much, because these are the 2 top teams and one of the contenders of this tournament. So all eyes on this game, which is going to be played today on 7:30. Alright, so another game that's going to be played in the night time or in the morning time in Pakistan is Afghanistan and Uganda. This game is, although Afghanistan will have clear edge on Uganda because Afghanistan has been doing so well very recently, but we still expect all the teams to do well considering how the first 3 games have gone so far. And Pakistan will also be looking at all of these matches from 2 angles. One is the games that are happening in US. This is where Pakistan has to play their games initially to qualify for the second stage, and the games that are happening in West Indies, they will be looking at those games from the knockout stage point of view. Adrian Markram is the captain for South Africa. If you talk about Markram, if you talk about de Kock, if you talk about Klaassen, these are the players that you want to watch if you love cricket. So I want you guys to also tell me as to who is your favorite player in this T20 World Cup and who are the players that you are watching out for, because if you ask me, these are the top 3 batsmen in this T20 tournament, and all of these 3 represent South Africa, since we are talking about South Africa and Sri Lanka game. If we talk about Sri Lanka, Hasaranga is their new captain, and who could forget Hasaranga, what he can do. He actually took the game away from Asia Cup final from Pakistan, so we remember Hasaranga from that point of view, but he's a very good, genuine all-rounder. But South Africa is full of fire with de Kock, Markram and Klaassen kind of players. What do you guys expect from this game is something that we also want to know. Or even if you miss out today, you can give your comments today. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And we also build up for the game that's going to happen on 6th June, because a lot of interaction must happen for the game that's going to happen between Pakistan and US, and the game then between Pakistan and India eventually on 9th of June. Alright, so this South Africa and Sri Lanka game is going to be a strong game and one of the games of this tournament, because so far, if you talk about West Indies and PNG, we expected West Indies to win. West Indies won. If you talk about USA and Canada, USA won. But this game is the one where there will be fight. Although the fight has already happened, we have seen one game already going down to the wire with the super over, but we expect this game to unleash all the stars of this tournament with the likes of de Kock, Klaassen and Markram, and from Sri Lanka's point of view, Hasaranga. And there are a lot of exciting players like De Silva from Sri Lankan team, which will be also the player to watch out for. If we talk about Afghanistan and Uganda game, you will be looking out for Rashid Khan's performance, and one of the 2 openers of Afghanistan are also very exciting players. One of these players is coming from Kolkata Knight Riders and he's done so well, so we expect that game to be also very good. This game will happen in the morning time, and this World Cup also reminds me of 1992 World Cup, where we were kids and we used to get up early and watch these matches. So I will also urge you guys to get up early and watch these matches if it allows you to watch these matches early in the morning, because if you watch these games then you get to know about this cricket and all of that. But the good thing is the most important match is happening at a time where we can easily watch the game between South Africa and Sri Lanka. So I'll be with you every day between 4 and 5 p.m. in the day on City FM 89, talking about the games that are happening in T20 World Cup, and we'll talk about the details, the good players, what are the chances for Pakistan to win the games, and even if Pakistan loses out on 1 or 2 games, this tournament is such that you get the chance to get to the next stage, because Pakistan is having one very tough team, but the next 3 teams are not that difficult to play against, and hopefully Pakistan will qualify for the next round, but we'll have to wait and see. And the most important part of this show will be that we'll be able to answer your questions, and it will be interesting for us to know as to what you guys are thinking about Pakistan team, and the build up towards the games that are coming off Pakistan are going to create our discussion very, very good. So we expect that the 2 games that are coming up today and one tomorrow are going to be great games, and in tomorrow's show we'll talk about these 2 games in complete details, and we expect the stars that we have talked about today are going to perform really well in today's game, because every tournament picks up when these superstars start to perform well, and we expect South African players to do well in today's game, because all of these players have also come from IPL, where they've played a lot of T20 games, so they are into their zone in terms of doing well. If we talk about Markram, Deacock, all of them were there in the IPL, so we expect them to do well in the World Cup as well, and it will be great fun when you see Pakistan on the ground. That will be the time when we all start supporting our team, and I'm also waiting anxiously for the game between Pakistan and US as well. I am sure you guys are also waiting green shirts to be on the ground of the US and to do well in those grounds. And one thing is that I wanted to discuss in today's show as well, that teams like USA and Canada are also playing spinners well. So I would also like you guys to give your thought about which spinners Pakistan should go with in the game against US, because we have seen the way Aaron Jones has played against spinners. Pakistan might have trouble going with Shadab Khan. Imad Wasim could be the player who should be in the team in place of Shadab Khan. Similarly, there's this mystery spinners that we have. He could also be in the team. We'll have to wait and see as to what team goes and plays in the US game. But we are all excited, and we expect our team to do well, especially in the US game, and building up to the game against India. It will be even more important that you come up with the playing 11 that you're confident about. One question on wicketkeeper is also there, which is Azam Khan, whether he will play as a keeper or Usman will come into play. We have seen that in the last game against England, Usman did so well as a fielder and as a batsman, so there could be some change in the wicketkeeper slot as well. But I am happy with the way things are shaping up right now, because when Pakistan goes into the tournament with some questions in the team, they come up well, and if they give the chance to the young players, I am pretty hopeful that these youngsters will perform really, really well. So looking forward to the game between South Africa and Sri Lanka, and looking forward to the game against Afghanistan and Uganda as well. And I again ask you guys to get up early and watch this Afghanistan-Uganda game, because then you will get used to getting up early when it comes to Pakistan games in the early morning times. Alright, so the time of the show is ending here, and I expect you guys to tune into City FM 89 every day between 4 and 5 p.m. to talk about cricket with me, to interact with me on what is happening on T20 World Cup. It was pleasure to be on this show as a RJ, and looking forward to the show tomorrow. Keep listening to our show. We'll catch you tomorrow.